It took me over 12 years of being fully immersed in holistic health and well-being to realize that the point of my journey in life was not to heal, but to create a life and lifestyle and fully embed and sink and relax into the relief of my Dharma, and to take myself out of a life of continuing suffering from this core perpetual desire, this unpurified desire to heal, which was coming from a deep place of fear and burden. It took me over 12 years of being fully immersed in health and well-being, in holistic health and well-being, natural health and well-being, to realize this, to get to a point where I had done this level of work to lift off these layers, to help me to clearly see the parts of me that were still suffering, and also to see the parts of me that were masking this. And what I realized was that this was simply the old me, old versions of me, old parts of me from my whole old life that were now newly spiritualized, that had learned to be spiritual, that had learned to be a healer on a healing path, that had learned to tell myself these things, that like, I'm healing now and I'm there, I've made it, I've saved myself, I'm happy. And it's like, and masking all of this stuff when actually deep down there was still this deep fear that I wasn't going to heal and that I was going to have health issues my whole life and that something bad would happen to me. And deep down within the core of that was the fear of getting cancer, dying, suffering in my health and illness. And I realized that some of these core wounds or mental events, emotional events, weren't just things that were consistent in my life experience. I'd never had somebody die horrifically in my life, or someone have cancer and me having to witness that. I was recognizing that there is a larger field that I am connected to, that my mind is connected to this group mind, it's connected to my ancestral lineage. And so many of these fears were deeply rooted, not just in my own personal experience, but in the collective experience. And there are so many more dimensions to this, but I wanted to share this because I was having this conversation with a very dear, close sister last night about this journey of growth and evolution. And we were having this exact journey about those old ways of looking at health and healing that we had, that we were, and how we've transformed, thankfully, that into a new path, which is so relieving for our system. And I'm sharing this because I know so many of you out there that are following these threads, that is following the community here at Earth School, that is listening to what we're sharing, so many of you that you're all dedicated to your own growth and evolution. And we know that you desire to be free of the suffering of physical health symptoms, to be free of anxiety, stuckness, depression, feelings of inadequacy or hopelessness or aloneness, knowing that relationships at work and in family life could be better, or that there's so many of you that know and desire to be on that Dharma path that is alive and relevant for you, that's what you really truly want to be living. And I know that so many of you also feel stuck in your lives, your works, your relationships, your jobs, and want to be able to transition into this life and lifestyle that I know you know deep down is there waiting for you. And we all have this stuff to work through, which is the deeper resistance and the deeper burdens that we have around our own sense of worth, our own sense of value, our own sense of deservedness, our own sense of capacity and energy and stability that we have to actually manifest that, to create that, to pull that, to collapse into that timeline. And I know that there's a lot of work to be done here. And so I circle back to this thing of healing, because when we can do the work to recognize that the journey of healing is a means to an end, it is one point on the overall journey of personal growth and evolution. When we can recognize that, we have the ability, the capacity, the opportunity to release so much more energy that we can put into actually living our life and enjoying it, because we are here to play. We're here to experience the fullness of this life, the whole spectrum of human emotion and experience. And that means that the healing journey along that, of course, as another deep, depthful human experience, has a full spectrum of experience, right from the challenging, the difficult, the burden aspects, having to go into our shadow, having to look at those aspects of ourselves, and then through the other side of this healing journey where we get to feel the relief, we get to feel the release, we get to feel the joy in having found the solutions for ourselves, the joy of learning about amazing techniques and indigenous cultures and so much more. But healing is one little microcosm within our whole life experience that we are here to learn. And actually, there's something really core fundamental that I'm getting to, which is, where did we form the belief that our healing should happen quickly, should happen now, and therefore all of these additional beliefs that we then create about ourselves, these additional stories that we then attach onto about our inability to heal, not being good enough, not knowing enough, not practicing harder enough. Where does this core belief about healing, I need to do it now, I need to do it tomorrow, and I should be able to, like Joe Blogs and whomever else, I should be able to do what they're doing. I should be able to do it quickly. I should be able to transform myself. Where does this really come from? I really invite you, if there's anything to take away from this, it's that. What part of our mind has created this belief that our healing should have happened yesterday? When the reality is, for many of us, we have had decades upon decades of programming ourselves, of having burden, of experiencing hardship and challenge, of telling ourselves these stories. We have decades upon decades of inhaling, ingesting, being exposed to great immense physical toxicity and mental toxicity, emotional toxicity. We have generations of parasites feeding off of our family lineage, psychic ones and physical ones that get transferred through the line too. This is generations, this is lifetimes, and absolutely in this life, this is decades for many of us of dark quanta, dark matter to lift off the light body. And when we're only now receiving the techniques and the tools that can do that in an effective, efficient way, can lift off large amounts of dark quanta off the light body, enough to really make a difference, to fully reverse complex disease, complex metabolic disease like cancers, complex autoimmune conditions, all that kind of stuff, complex psychological issues, when we only just have the information coming now to do that, how is it that we still expect ourselves to heal in 2 months, 2 years even? The reality is that this is going to be a rest of the life thing where we continue to, we absolutely got to go through a phase where we lift off a significant amount of this burdened energy, of this dark matter or dark quanta, so that we can relax into the rest of our journey, right? Because when we're so extremely burdened and we're literally dragging through ourselves through life, it is really hard to then develop a lifestyle and find a way to enjoy life amidst the challenges that we have. So what I'm not saying is just kind of mask it and get on with it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's important for us to learn how we can lift off enough of that dark matter so that we're in a good place, and then we can relax into the rest of this time that it's going to take us to work through these deeper levels. And eventually we get through that, and then we get to a point where everything is just really refining now, fine-tuning, and going into deeper and deeper layers. Experiencing life, this is what it's about. Being on a healing journey is part of the experience that we have. It's part of what we're here to do and experience. It isn't the point of it. It's really important that we learn to live life. And so developing an appropriate lifestyle based on where we're at, what we need and where we want to go, based on what our dharma is. Or even if we don't know that yet, if you don't know what your dharma is yet, you're not clear on that, then make that your dharma. That my dharma right now is to be dedicated to uncovering my dharma. And that becomes meaningful in itself, and that becomes joyous. Well, how exciting that I now have realized that I am worth more, that I have the capacity to do more, that there is more for me to experience on this life. And I now get to go on a journey where I uncover who I really am and uncover what my dharma is. And that's exciting, rather than being stressed because I haven't found my dharma and feeling bad about myself because I don't know what it is yet and I still have all this healing to do. What about, wow, how exciting that I get to now enjoy, relax into this phase of healing. And like I said, for so many of you where it's not possible to relax into it because you are so burdened by physical and complex health conditions, we got to go on that journey to do enough of that heavy lifting so that you can relax into the next phase. And that's what we're here to support you with. And that's really, truly what we desire, is to help and support with that, because we now have the tools that can really effectively, efficiently, and quickly lift off that dark matter so you can ease into the rest of your journey. And I am going to spend the rest of my time in this next phase of my life just hammering home this key message, that it really is possible. And I know that you've tried everything. I know that you think you've tried everything in the medical system and in the holistic system, but there really is some stuff out there that is so brand new, it's so futuristic, it's so new to this planet that really no one has heard of it. And we're so blessed to have that knowledge and that practice here, and we are ready to share it with you. And I can't emphasize that enough, that this is just not another sales pitch. This is not just the next new best thing in energy medicine and naturopathy. This is the future of human multidimensional health. This is the future of activating the technology in a meaningful way on planet Earth, because what is going on right now is insane on this planet. The level of suppression of this technology is a whole other series of videos to begin with, and we don't want to push that fear-based agenda, but there's a reality to it. We are literally utilizing a few percent of what we are really capable of. And that's even with the most cutting edge science that we've kind of managed to muster together. So I really hope that you reach out and you join one of our programs, because they really, really, truly are incredibly life-changing, transformational, and fundamental at accessing your innate, infinite, multidimensional potential in a way that we've never had access to and done before. Sending you blessings, my dear ones.